It's my honor and privilege to bring you this long overdue tribute to my coach, my mentor, the great Brian Derwin. Small disclaimer, this thing started out as a labor of love. It turned into the Gong Show. We had to cobble together a flip phone video with a PowerPoint and a voicemail. Now would be a good time to lower your expectations. But in the spirit of poor production values, like an Ed Wood movie, try to enjoy this anyway. A standout two-sport high school athlete, Brian excelled in both football and track. He then continued his two-sport success collegiately at Lehigh University, where he met then-graduate student John Garhammer, who would later emerge as a renowned sports scientist. It was Garhammer who introduced Brian to Olympic-style weightlifting.
Brian Derwin and I had a special relationship. I first met him on the football field at Lehigh University. I was playing offensive center, and Brian had won the starting guard spot. I reveled at his intensity and love for the sport.
When the competition was high, Brian was always at his best. He's a great competitor. He would excel in competition. He also would practice hard. I mean, it seemed like every time we lifted weights, he'd lift a heavier weight, or he'd do more repetitions, or have less time between sets. And you know, it's an honor to train with him, but sometimes it got discouraging. It was like repeatedly going to a pickup joint with a ladies' man, because you know he's getting lucky and you ain't.
During the off-season, Brian apparently did powerlifting, and he needed someone to work out with. By the grace of God, he asked me. Brian brought on the full brunt of building muscle and increasing stamina. I have no doubt that this advantage showed in my junior and senior football campaigns and eventually led to being drafted by the New York Giants in the National Football League. I played 3 years in New York and 10 in New Orleans. Thank you very much, Brian.
Some years later, at a weightlifting meet in Vineland, New Jersey, Brian was approached by famed weightlifting coach Bucky Cairo, who persuaded Brian to join his team, the Belleville Barbell Club. Bucky honed Brian's weightlifting technique, taking him to national prominence. 1980 would prove to be an exceptionally notable year for Brian, being named Weightlifter of the Year and earning a spot on 1980's Olympic team.
I first met Brian Derwin as he was reaching the pinnacle of his athletic performance as America's top 100 kilo lifter. First time I saw him lift, I believe, was at the 1980 Olympic trials in Philadelphia. I was nearby when Brian had his career-ending injury at the 1981 Nationals, after which we stayed in periodic contact, dealing with the sport and its direction. I watched favorably as Brian steered USA Weightlifting to its most successful performance tenure when he served as the organization's president from 1996 to 2000.
Brian was a great weightlifter. Anybody that made an Olympic team, unfortunately, he made the team. We boycotted. That was 1980. But he was a world-class lifter. He held the national record in clean and jerk. I believe it was 207.5 kilos, which would translate to 457 pounds. So he was as good as you could get, in his time. He was the best. In his weight class, he was the best in the country. So he was a great weightlifter.
Hello, Brian. This is Jim Schmitz here. You had a great day in 1980 when you made the Olympic team with an American record clean and jerk. That was an awesome performance. And unfortunately, your career came to an end the next year at my competition in San Francisco where you dislocated your elbow. but you're a national champion, Olympic team member. That's a pretty outstanding athletic career. And then, of course, you went on to coach many top athletes, Bob Jones, and I can't think of the woman heavyweight. Her name will come to me later. So you certainly left your fingerprint on USA, but there have been many contributions as an athlete, coach, and administrator.
After hanging up his weightlifting belt, Brian would go on to be an accomplished weightlifting coach and an active administrator, serving as president of USA Weightlifting and as an executive committee member of the United States Olympic Committee.
Very positive reinforcement type of coach. He'd tell you he did something, well, that was really nice, but there was always a but. Maybe not towards the end, but you can never make it perfect. And that's what he was always striving for, so I just took I had faith in him, listened to him, and it took me far in the sport.
Aside from his athletic and business acumen, Brian has always been known as a sharp dresser. Thanks, Jen, for those shorts. Really made the day.
These are original handwritten Brian Derwin workouts. If you flip through these things, you can see what a sick maniac the guy is.
Now, Brian had this wonderful ability to spit. He could spit out a straight, narrow, long stream of water. This came really handy on Saturday nights on the hill when he would take a mouthful of kerosene or lighter fluid, spit it out in this straight, narrow, long stream, and light it on fire and become a human blowtorch.
He put SOTS presses in my workouts. He didn't even write those in to make me a better weightlifter. He just enjoyed laughing at my subpar flexibility.
Now, coaches use quotations for inspiration, and so did Brian. But instead of quoting Alfred Lord Tennyson or Vince Lombardi, he quoted a Zap Comics character named the Checkered Demon. He'd walk around and say, "Nice day for something, nice day for something."
In the 100 kilo class, Brian Derwin was the winner. His clean and jerk 457 1/4 tied the American record. Combined total for Brian Derwin, 799 to capture the crown at 100 kilos.
I'd just like to thank him for everything he did for me back when I was younger, because when you're a young kid, you don't appreciate the things people do for you. He sure did a lot for me, so I'm very grateful to Brian.
I wouldn't trade my time nor college friendship with Brian for anything. Brian elevated me in a way that he will never know.
It's been a pleasure indeed to know and work with Brian Derwin over the past 40 years. Here's to 40 more.
Brian Derwin shall always be a fire-breathing Olympian.
Thank you, Brian Derwin, my friend, the Dirt Man. Much love, John Hill.